And Janavi, go ahead and take it away.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, San Diego Women in Code, for giving us this opportunity every year. So I had a really great time last year, and I decided to do it again this year because um, talking about things, like I'm a talkative person, and talking about things really gives me joy. And the cherry on the cake is this year I had to undergo a jaw surgery and I wasn't able to talk. But today, finally, I got splinters, and I'm like, this is the day to talk. I'm talking about like probably after a month. Okay, so here we go. Today, I'm going to talk about my favorite things. Firstly, I'm going to talk about my favorite things, technical things. So, firstly, the most favorite thing that I like is clean code and comments in the code. So, say you're going through a code and say a certain part of the code that you hadn't written and it was written by someone, your predecessor or your colleague from some other team, and it turned out to be a bug, and you have to resolve the bug. So in such a situation, when one leaves comments on the code, leave any kind of comment that makes you understand the context data. That is very helpful, and it also, I'm sorry, it is also good for team collaboration. And what happens in those cases is that you don't need to spend time in going through the root, through the code and finding out the root issue. And then, that basically helps you save a lot of time, and it's more efficient. It makes everything efficient. The second thing that I love is 100% code coverage. It's almost like having 100% code coverage is almost like saying that, hey, I have this statement and I can validate it with these facts and figures. So it's a technical way of saying that whatever I have written can be validated and is correct. So if tomorrow someone comes and disputes that, hey, whatever you have written is not according to the acceptance criteria. So if you have 100% coverage, you can say, no, this is what it is, and it's running, the tests are 100% accurate and fine, and I think I'm correct. So that's basically a way, it helps you prove your point in the future. It also helps to make the code more resilient, I feel. And I love code that is not tightly coupled. I don't know if this is, I think this is like a common thing that a lot of people might like, because what happens is when code is tightly coupled, it's very hard to debug it. And sometimes what happens is if you resolve something in the code in the future, it affects things around it. And then the whole application comes down like a stack of cards. So which is why I like code that is not tightly coupled. For instance, if you have an application in which you are doing some sort of business processing, you're adding business logic, and then suddenly you have to do something like, say, generate a PDF or generate an Excel. So that generation of Excel should not be tightly coupled with your business logic. It can be moved somewhere else. So this is just an example. There can be many examples that illustrate what I'm talking about. And fourthly, when it comes to collaboration, I love open communication and mentoring. Open communication in the sense, even when you're writing code, a lot of people do pair programming or parrot programming. But even if you're doing writing code as an individually, open communication really helps, and mentoring really helps, because the more you give, the more you try and talk to people, the more you get. Sometimes certain concepts are clear in your mind, but you do not know how to put pen to paper. So when you mentor people, I think you internalize the concept and then you try to explain to yourself before spitting it out from your mouth or before explaining it to someone else. So that really helped me grow in my personal experience. Fifthly, my most favorite bundle right now would be the Google Cloud bundle. I would say I'm calling it a bundle because I use App Engine from Google Cloud. I have been running an application and I've been paying like cents. And telling you a secret, that application has helped the person for whom it's a simple web app. It's a single page application written in Angular Universal. It has really helped him get business. And people have been contacting him on the net. And when it comes to what is that? When it comes to search engine optimization, it's perfect. It's economical. And then I can also connect Cloud Build with GitHub. So what happens is it's very convenient. It's just hit of a button, my code goes to GitHub, and then from GitHub it goes to the App Engine. It builds perfectly, and it also has various logs which helps me find out if there is an issue with the code. And I specifically love Firestore in the Google bundle because it simplifies things. You don't have to go through the entire process of creating tables and things like that. It's almost like it's a document store where it's basically like NoSQL, but it's really convenient when you use with frameworks such as Angular, JavaScript frameworks, and libraries such as React and things like that. And sixthly, my other favorite thing is open source code. So working with open source code has really helped me grow as an individual, and I plan to do that, for the rest of my career. And it has helped me network with people. And the thing about open source code is you can look at the code, and if you are initially beginning as a developer, and you can learn it for yourself. And open source code is usually flexible, and most of the time it's free of cost, and there's a huge community around open source code, so it really helps you as a developer. And lastly, I like simple and elegant solutions. I think it is universal across all, I would say, all um, disciplines, not just programming or sciences or applied sciences. Simple and elegant solutions lead to clean code in my case. But one thing I have realized that it is not easy to get a simple and elegant solution at the word go. It requires a lot of revisions. It requires you to think, but once you get the simple and elegant solution, there can be no bigger joy than looking at the code and marveling in your excellence. So these are some of my favorite things. And lastly, among writing code, the joy that you get with personal satisfaction is way more than someone else praising you or giving you standing ovation. Sometimes it might happen that you have done a shoddy job, but due to various circumstances, because your shoddy job is the best among other shoddier jobs, you get the standing ovation and people really applaud you. But you know internally that this is not the best thing that you could have done. You could have done better. But there are circumstances when you have given your best, and but you are not praised enough by people in your team. So at that time, you know that you gave your best, and this is the best that you could have done. So that is the greatest satisfaction I derive in such situations. And lastly, to before. So this is the concluding part of my speech. And since we are in this pandemic, so I would like to speak a little bit about what I learned during this time. I think we celebrated the birthday of COVID-19 virus recently. I wouldn't call it a birthday, but yeah, it has almost been a year. So the first thing I would like to say, and that I realized during this pandemic, is do not take family or friends for granted, and do not take your opportunities for granted. Because there were times, I mean, we are at a stage, we are in our mid 20s to early 30s, and our parents are, pretty much doing okay towards their retirement. You take things for granted. But COVID is almost, this phase has been like a game of snakes and ladders. And it seems people who were hale and hearty a month ago were reeling in the ICU the next month, and then they recovered. And you were thinking that they would be on their path to recovery, but then they get COVID again and they pass away. So I have heard and I have seen such instances in this past few months. So I'm definitely not taking my friends and family for granted, and not taking my opportunities for granted, because I have seen people who were working so hard and they thought they were relatively well off, but in this game of snakes and ladders in the pandemic season, they seem to have lost it all. And secondly, do not be rude. I mean, I know it's human for us to get frustrated, flustered at times, and be rude to people. But I have realized that if I don't have anything nice to say, I don't say. I don't use my energies to engage with people who would rile up my blood pressure, because at the end of the day, I'm the one who's going to suffer. So, and basically, in a nutshell, I want to say that it's better to forgive and move on, because when you internalize that hate, it builds inside you. And personally, it has given me a lot of grief. Grief, not in the sense it has made me sad, but the pandemic season, I mean, there's negativity outside, negativity inside the home, and you internalize those things. There's negativity inside you. So I just wanted to avoid that. Now I have made it a point that I'm going to apply this in my life moving forward. And I have also realized that the lowest phases of your life might be the time you need to retrospect, and in order to reach your goals in the future. Because now during the pandemic, I have all the time. I don't have all the time in the world, but at least the time that I have saved by not commuting to work or not doing extra miscellaneous things, getting ready for work, I realized that this is a time when I can retrospect and find out if I'm on track for my goals, and what all do I need to do, and are my goals okay. So this was a time when I reflected on a lot of my choices and what are the next steps that I need to take. So this is one of the positive sides. I have seen that maybe in the future I might go through a similar adversarial time, through adversity or penury. But I think it's those times might be bad, but there is a certain sentence they say that this too shall pass. So maybe we should take some time to reflect on the things that can help and help us grow as an individual. And lastly, I would like to say that it's okay to fight your battles another day. So if you are perturbed in your life, and you have a battle in front of you, it might be like you have a code to write, and tomorrow or day after tomorrow or during a sprint, you're running against time. So you cannot solve everything in one day, because I have realized from the perspective of code that I'm racing against time to finish it within my sprint. But what happens is that I cannot finish everything in one day. I need to compartmentalize it, break it down. I cannot fight my battles in one day. I think that can be translated even in our personal lives. Sometimes you might be given an ultimatum or even rudely spoken to by someone, in your work or in your personal life or anywhere. It's not necessary to fight that battle that day. You can move on and avenge it. I'm not saying you to avenge it, but in the sense you can take your battle to the future, grow as a person, and maybe serve the revenge cold, on a platter with desserts. But jokes apart, I think it's necessary to compartmentalize and break down your goals, and with slow steps move forward in your life. That is all from me. Thank you for this opportunity. If you guys have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you so much, Janavi. That was beautiful, and I love every single bit of advice. And that's totally accurate. That it feels like the pandemic is like shoots and ladders, and sometimes it feels like it's like a never-ending shoot. You just keep going down and down and down. But it helps to know that there's still